The Carolina Hurricanes have made their first chess move of the offseason. Eric Robinson, 4-year contract extension. Eric, a big 6'2" left-handed shot. Max, what are we doing? We have so many left-handed shots. It's Logan Stankoven and Seth Jarvis. Like, that's it. That's all we got.
I mean, there's a few out there on the market. There's definitely a few that have been rumored.
But it's lefties. It's all lefties. We have all
there's
lefties.
Some righties they can go get.
I suppose.
There's some out there. Brock Besser, Nick Ehlers.
Yeah, Ehlers is going to hit the market.
Jason Robertson.
Jason Robertson. Yeah, but he's not a free agent. He has to be traded for.
This is true, but I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, well, listen. The more you say things out loud, the more it might happen. Like I said, I wish to win the Powerball. So let's just put that one out there too, right? I need a new car. My vehicle's 20 years old. The Canes make their first move of the offseason, and it is Eric Robinson, a guy that clearly won the trust of Rod Brind'amour, clearly was a value buy when they picked him up, and continues to be so and will be so for the next 4 years. But what else does Eric Tulsky need to do with now? And no longer has $1.7 million of that big war chest, but he still has the fourth most salary cap space to work with in the NHL. What to do with the rest of it? Head coach Rod Brind'amour talked with Adam Gold yesterday. And Adam, our Canes insider, for those of you who are still listening to us here on 99.9 The Fan, just came off the air 15 minutes ago and had a monster show. My goodness. He talked with Rod about having a little bit more gas when it came from the center position. 90 seconds you're going to need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no secret there. We need a little more production. And you know, it really, you don't want to just boil it down to one player, because that's not really fair. But, you know, there's an area, I think, if we're talking, being realistic about, okay, we talked about Sveshk being a little bit better. And, you know, you might mention Nate just when he was with us, he was better.
Yep.
Like when he came back, right? I think he led the league in scoring there for the first month or whatever. So, like that, there you go. And that's the kind of stuff we need. I think with what we're talking about, you know, Kotkaniemi, like he's got to be on the score sheet if he's going to be in that role. So we have to get more than, you know, kind of, I think he had one goal in the last 35 games or something like that. You know, there's an area right there. Can he be better, right? Like that, he's going to have to be if that's taking these next steps. So, but it's not just him. There's other guys too. But I mean, I think you know, we made a nice trade and brought in Jankowski. He got better.
Yep.
Like he produced for us. Like, so you just don't know where it's going to come from. But there's certain positions you got to get it done, especially the role that you're in. So, you know, that's an area. You know, our power play's got to get better. I mean, it was good at times. It just has to be more consistent. And that's an area that, you know, if we can get that a little sharper, certainly that'll help. But there's you know, really you can go up and down the lineup. There's room. We have to be, you know, there's room to get better, I believe, and we have to if we want to, you know, make that next step.
And he says that because this team did not win a Stanley Cup. And you get to say those things when your team does not win a Stanley Cup. And Rod has said in the past, and recently during the exit interviews once the season concluded, following the loss to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, that other franchises and other teams would be envious to be in this position. That I understand. But I believe Rod is also a realist. And Rod understands that without goal scoring and production from certain positions, which he has been very steadfast and very sturdy in his belief about having production from the center position. And it has been lacking. And they have tried a myriad of things. They did not try Marty Necas at center. They passed over Marty Necas at center. He wasn't going to be the option. Like, if he was going to be the option, he would have been the option. He wasn't the option. They thought they had an option in Mikko Rantanen, and that didn't work out. It just didn't work out. We call it what it is. So, in terms of what Eric Tulsky has to do, Paul Ihander here in for Tim Donnelly in the drive, Max Goren producing. In terms of what Eric Tulsky needs to do with this team, and everybody's got their own theories and wind-ups and whatnot, I think it will not be through free agency. That this team, if it wants to improve at the center position, it will have to be done via trade. And doing so via trade means you have to give up something. This is why they call it a trade. You have to give up something in return. And so you have to look up and down this roster, and maybe it's not something that happens immediately here. The hope is it would, so we, as myself and Carolina Hurricanes fans, can get used to seeing a new face in this lineup. Because right now, what Eric Tulsky has to do between now and the start of the regular season, and he's got a lot of runway to do it, and we don't have the regular season schedule yet, just pump your brakes a bit. We won't see that for a few more weeks. Rumor has it we'll get it in early July. Between now and the start of the regular season, Eric Tulsky has to spend $2 million. He spent part of that on Eric Robinson and extending him. But for the Carolina Hurricanes to get to the floor of the NHL's spending limits, he has to spend another $2 million, of which he already has a full roster under contract. He really doesn't have to do a thing, but we all get the bit. This is not a joke. We're all in on it together. We know that this team needs help at that center position. We have so many wingers. We have 2 goaltenders that could be argued could use an upgrade as well. I don't think anyone will question that. No one should question that because neither guy is tied up long-term in Pyotr Kochetkov and Freddie Anderson. We're not talking about goaltending today, though. We're talking about how to improve at the center position. And what's available out there right now also isn't are we allowed to still call it the sexiest out there? I mean, is that a dated term at this point? When you say it's not a very sexy, unrestricted free agent class when it comes to what the Carolina Hurricanes can pick from? It's all, for the most part, they're all left-handed centers.
Yeah.
And we don't have any right-handed. The last right-handed center was Jack Drury. Jack Drury no longer plays for this team. You know what? Go deal for Jack Drury. I think you would take him back in a heartbeat if you wanted him as a fourth-line guy. Maybe as a third-line guy. I don't know. But I throw that out there because it will have to come via trade. And that's the crazy part about it, is that what's available out there on the market is stuff that you're going to settle for in terms of unrestricted free agents, in my humble opinion.
I mean, is there a reason that we kind of just have overlooked the possibility of someone like a John Tavares? I understand that he's a little bit on the older side, but as a veteran, but looking at like the value of kind of similar bracket of players like Matt Duchene, who just signed that deal, like if they were to sign John Tavares to similar money, like I don't think anyone would be upset about that. That's a consistent 30-goal guy, good leader for the locker room. I understand. I'm pretty sure he's left-handed, but how much stock do you put on that versus someone who's going to give you 30 or 35 goals as a second-line center? Like, sure, I don't care if he's ambidextrous. I don't care if he plays with a flat blade and flips back and forth. Like, if he can score at that rate, I think that would be a good. I guess maybe people believe he's going back to Toronto, but I mean, they got their whole cap situation and everything going on there. So, I mean, I think that's something, of course, if it's an option, Tulsky has inquired about it.
I'm sure the tires have been kicked on John Tavares, who wants rumored $5 million a year, which is a good number, to be honest, to get him out.
I think that's below value, honestly. I mean, it depends on how many years you're giving him. If you're giving him a 4 or 5 year contract, like, yeah, $5 million's like, okay. But if that was on like a 2 or 3 year deal, like that is highway robbery, I think. On the team side. I'll
take a creator. You will live without the left-handed. And left-handed, right-handed is a little bit in the weeds, to be fair. You're looking for the best player at the position that can help you immediately. And we throw age out of the question, which is why everyone goes, oh, Brad Marchand. Why not? Why not? The guy produces. It's not at the clip that he used to, say, 5 years ago. Certainly not 10 years ago. But veteran presence who can still score. But you might be overpaying for that because in Florida during this run, he wasn't playing monster minutes. Tavares is a good choice. You could run down the line of players that could help out this team. But I firmly believe it will have to come in a trade, which means you're going to have to see a few friends go and a few friends stay, and that might be the only way to go for me, where I sit. Now, I'm not sitting over at Lenovo Center staring at all the paperwork and all the numbers and all the analytics that tell you otherwise. But based on the signing of Eric Robinson today to a 4-year, $1.7 million average annual value contract, they are looking at the numbers, and they're trying to find the best value. And sometimes, even though you are looking for the discount, it's still the hottest toy on the shelf, and you will have to pay full price I'm sure that they're well aware of this. I'm sure that they're ready to pay that full price too. But will it help the team get to the ultimate goal, which is a Stanley Cup? The warm and fuzzies for me, I'm not warm and fuzzy about trips to the conference finals. I don't think any fans are at this point anymore.
Certainly wasn't feeling warm and fuzzy walking out of the building after Game 5 of the conference finals.